Hello everybody, welcome back to Steve's Gear. And today I'm out here hitting some trails. I'm on kind of a popular trail right now, so you may hear some cars go by in the background. But I was out checking out some rivers, checking out some lakes, and I was going to cook some breakfast. And I thought, hey, let's make a video on this Firebox Nano. So you've probably seen this in a couple of my other videos. If you've watched a few of my outdoor videos, you might have seen me use this. But I never really did a review on it, so I kind of wanted to do one today. It's that time of year when people are out camping and hiking and things like that, and you may be looking for some kind of cooking system that's not huge. I think this is an awesome option for you. Like I said, this is by a brand called Firebox. They do have a YouTube channel. There's a guy over there named Steve, the kind of the inventor of Firebox. And he makes some great content, fishing content, solo camping content, family content. It's a great channel. Highly recommend checking it out. Also, he's a lot more versed in doing videos on these, but I'm going to do my best to kind of give you a general overview of this. So as you can see, I kind of have it set up. We'll kind of take a look at it. Now, I purchased the kit that comes with the X case, and it comes with a couple accessories. We'll kind of go over those accessories here in just a second. Let's take a look at the actual Nano itself. So if we kind of fold it up, once it's all folded up in the case, kind of a cute little setup there. And sorry, I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes too, but as you can see, the sunlight's just right. You can see the Firebox logo in there, patent pending, USA. Now, I've had this one for a while, so obviously it's getting a little bit of patina on it from just being burned. It's going to have some of these little swivel feet and pot rest on it. Then once you unfold it, it's got a little fold down flap there on the bottom, and that flap's got a few uses. Now, the case it comes in, if you get the X case, is a nice case for holding it. Everything stores in it real nicely. Nice compact, fits into a backpack or a pocket pretty easy. Now, this is available in a titanium version as well. So if weight's something that's really interesting to you or really, makes a big difference if you're doing some overnight hiking or anything, I know ounces are important, you can get the titanium version. Now, you can buy the stove just alone, but I recommend getting it with this case, because if you get it with the case, you get this, you get the stove. It does come with a little bit of a wind block here. So the wind block, if you're looking at the side that actually has the Firebox logo, it's kind of hard from behind the camera, but this will just fit into here. And then now you have a little bit of a wind block on one side for you there. So pretty cool little idea. You get a couple of these nano sticks, which I'll show you what these are for in just a minute. And it's also going to come with a piece of this felt. So this felt is like a fire resistant felt. You can lay it down underneath the stove if you want, and so you don't have to worry about burning whatever whatever you have the stove on. Or it does come with a couple of these little rods, which I've already inserted in here. One end is kind of a spiky end, and the other end is just blunt. You can actually stand it up underneath the case for a wind block. So super cool idea. I like that it's all included in there, and you can use it. The wind blocks actually came in pretty handy for me multiple times. So those are the items you're going to get actually in the case when you buy it. Now there's also accessories and stuff, and we'll go over a few of the accessories. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a little bit of an overview of the stove itself, and then the second part of the video I'll do some cooking, and I'll just kind of ramble on, maybe tell you the origin story of my gear addiction. And but that way, if you just want to see the Firebox stuff, you can just watch that now. If you want to watch all the way through the video, you can see me do some cooking. So taking a look at the stove, like I said, the feet swivel. Now that's actually designed, you work with the case. So you set it in the case and you turn the feet. These little feet will actually start to fit into the grooves of that X. So you're going to get yourself a little bit of a stable platform when that nests in there. Gives you a little bit extra stability, which is nice. Now, when you have it set up like this, you can notice that the feet are pointing outwards, so you can fit a larger pot or a pan on it. But if you want to just say you just want to warm up some water for a mountain house or some coffee in the morning if you're hiking, and you need a little bit narrower just to set a titanium cup or a stainless steel cup on it, you can just turn the feet inwards, and they all still fit in the grooves of the X. You just get a smaller surface for the pot to sit on, which is pretty nice. So like that. It's inside the case still, but now you have these feet facing inwards. You can just set a stainless steel cup. I think I have one right here. So you'll be able to just fit a cup on there. Pretty easy. So that's really well engineered. Now you're going to see some holes on it. You're going to see some holes on that side, basically holes all the way around. And a lot of the holes have a function. Besides just airflow for fire, they also have other functions too. So let's talk about some fuel sources for it. So it's got three major fuel sources: wood, alcohol, and gas. Now, you can use some other stuff, like I think you can use some charcoal or some wood pellets, but those are kind of the three major sources for it. Now, in the beginning of the video, you saw me chop up a little bit of wood. kind of cutting up some little logs to make a few of these little pieces. So obviously fire is the big one for this one. So you can kind of just set the pieces in here. You know, you can kind of, I recommend putting the corners to the outside. Get it all in here. Throw a fire starter in the middle. Start loading it up. Get it on fire. You can just keep feeding it as you need to. You just got to make sure your wood is cut lower than the top of the pan. So pretty good. I mean, obviously it burns the fire quite well. I've used it with the fire quite a few times, and I like it. Especially if you're going to be camping over somewhere. It's just kind of nice to cook stuff over the fire. Now, another fuel source for it is using a little Trangia alcohol stove. So you can pick these up off Amazon or right off the Firebox website. If you pick it up off the Firebox website, they do give you an option on there where they'll braise the inside of it that makes it more leak proof. This one has no leaks, nothing like that. And it's just a few dollars more for it. Now, this is where those little nano sticks are going to come into play. So you have these little sticks, and you're going to have some holes. So you're going to have a hole here on the side, and another hole kind of in the kitty corner from it. So you're going to take the side of the nano stick that doesn't have the loop, and you'll feed it through one side, and you're going to feed it out the other hole. Kind of hard from behind the camera. Let's see here. I normally don't struggle this much with it, but a weird angle from being behind the camera. There you go. Okay. Finally got it through. Now, the other same thing with the other one. You'll feed it through, and you'll feed it right out the other side. All right. And once you feed it through, it's going to create kind of like a little bridge in there. Now, those nano sticks are pretty strong. I mean, for the weight you're going to be using, so everything will fit pretty good. Now, this little Trangia stove will actually just nest right on top of that. So, just sits right on top of them. You can unscrew the cap, light it, and then you're going to get a little bit of an alcohol burn. Now, it comes with a little cap here where you can kind of regulate your flame a little bit, depending on how much you want it to be. It also comes in handy for snuffing it out once you light it on fire. So, if you've never seen one of these, when the cap lifts off, it does have some alcohol in it, and you'll just light it, and then it'll light, and there's little rings around the outside will all light and give you some heat. So perfect for like warming up a cup of water or something like that. That's what I normally use it for. It's quick, it's easy, and goes pretty fast. So that's one fuel system, another fuel system for it. Now the last one is one that's relatively newer to me too, is this kind of like the Trangia makes something basically exactly the same, but this is the actual Firebox brand one. And this one is a little stove that works off of these little alcohol containers or gas containers, whatever you want to consider them. And it will fit in here and nest on those little rods just like the other one. So one end you're going to get the cap, the part that screws onto the fuel canister with the little adjuster there for adjusting the flame. And then the other side, you're going to get some cool little stuff in here. So you're going to get this little swivel piece here. You can see it. It kind of has these little holes that go around it. It's an oxygen hole. So you can kind of turn this and it will adjust the oxygen level. Now there's a few different options for your oxygen level. So if you have these wide open, you're going to get that, basically that really strong blue jet flame. And then if you close them up, you're going to get more of a traditional fire looking yellow flame. Now the fire looking yellow flame is kind of a cool idea because if you say you're in a place that has a burn ban, but you can still use the little gas canisters, you can set this up in here and kind of give you that ambience of having a fire. Plus you can still roast marshmallows on it or hot dogs or anything like that. Now if you want to use this, pretty simple. This big hole, like we would use to feed sticks through, you just set this through here. It's a little bit tricky to get it through everything right through there. And you just feed that cable through. And then these little wings on the side are actually designed to just clip right onto those. So that's on there, it's sturdy. You can pick it up by it, super sturdy. And then you would just attach the fuel canister right to the end. And then you have the fuel canister. So I don't think it's going to show too well on camera just because it's daylight out. And I know the alcohol's not going to really, the flame's not going to show too much on here. But I'll try to set it up where you can kind of see the orange flame. So what we'll do is we're going to block off those holes. They're pretty much all the way blocked off. Maybe just a little bit of air coming through them. Obviously, you don't want to adjust this after it's already hot, but this is cool because it hasn't been started yet. I'm going to use a little bit of a lighter here. I'm going to let this car pass by here real quick. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it in the background. Like I said, this is a trail that leads to a pretty good little spot of fishing on the river. Pretty good brown trout fishing. Just a little side note there for you. So we're going to go ahead and fire up the gas. Then we're going to light that. As you can see, you're going to get kind of that traditional orange flame you're going to be able to normally see from, you know, a regular campfire. I think it's a pretty cool idea. I've used it at night when you're out camping. You can't have a regular fire. I've used this. It does give you that pretty good look of that ambiance on there. So I'm going to leave this set up like this because if I do my cooking, I'm actually going to use this system here for the cooking. Now, a little tidbit is I would recommend carrying a little Leatherman. Today I'm carrying the Juice S2, kind of a throwback one. I've had this one for a long time, but it kind of makes it handy for adjusting those down there because you don't obviously want to touch it now that it's probably going to be a little bit warm. So I normally run it with the holes about half covered. So that's kind of how I like to do it. Seems to give a pretty good flame. Now there's another option you can get for this same stove. I'll get into my little kit here. So I'll pack a tech pouch. I did a video on this a while back and I kind of showed some of my camping stuff in it. Now I do use another thing out of here, which is this little disc. So you can get this little disc when you buy this alcohol thing. And this disc will actually just sit right on top of here. And what it does is when you light your flame, this is a titanium disc and it heats up pretty warm and it helps dissipate the heat a little bit. So if you're cooking on a pan or something like that, you don't want that direct flame just hitting right in the middle of your pan. This actually will help disperse it. And then if you're somebody that's into like bushcraft stuff, bushcraft baking, things like that, you can use that pan with some, some pot accessories, and you can actually like bake muffins and bread and stuff using this system. Pretty crazy. Check out some of Steve's videos if you want to see some of that. Super cool. But yeah, that's just kind of a general overview of the Firebox Nano. Like I said, I think it's a really valuable option for especially somebody like me that just comes out here by themselves, wants to cook something up real quick. It took longer to set all this up because of the video, but typically I can have this thing set up and cooking in a matter of like a minute. And then you can use whatever fuel source you want depending on, how much time you have or ease of use or anything like that. And if you did want to put this like in a survival backpack, it's just a nice contained area where you can cook some water, boil water if you need to, little things like that. Wood is pretty easy to find if you're out in the woods or, most areas you can find some down wood somewhere. And probably all of us have knives and stuff on us most of the time, so it's pretty easy to process some wood if you need to. But yeah, just a quick overview. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to try to answer them. In the future, I'll do another video on the full-size Firebox Nano, which is pretty cool. It's a lot bigger than this one, and you can really do some crazy cooking on there. And I'll have a few other accessories I'll show too. So if you're into just the overview of that, that's pretty much the end of the video. But like I said, now I'm going to do some cooking. You'll see a few more accessories, and I'll kind of just ramble on about some stuff. So, all right. If that's all you watched, I hope you have a good day. All right. If you stuck around, now we're going to do some cooking. So I'm going to set up this little, I brought this Sparter soft cooler that I did a video on. So I got some stuff in there. And then we're going to do some cooking stuff. So a few other accessories that I used. I did purchase another little windbreak off of Amazon. It's just a cheap one. Kind of just unfolds and makes kind of a nice little windshield for it. Fits it really well. I don't mind cooking right on the tailgate just because this little case kind of protects against the heat. I don't cook it underneath the bed where my soft topper is, so I don't light nothing on fire. But right here on the tailgate, I have confidence that everything's going to be pretty good. And you just kind of space it out a little bit here for the size of the pan. All right. Now, a few other accessories you can pick up from Firebox stoves. Like I said, it sounds like a sponsored ad, but it's not. You can buy these off Amazon too. This is a little GSI folding spatula. Comes in pretty handy. We'll use that today. And then you can also pick up these Tokes titanium utensils. So I got a spoon and a fork. But it also comes with a little, like a little bridge thing here. And you can actually insert these into here and you can make yourself a set of tongs. So pretty cool idea. Obviously that's not a Firebox idea, but it's just something cool to see. Firebox has some plates. So this is like a kind of like an old cowboy dinner plate. And I have a few of these things. They're pretty handy because everything's engineered well together. So I also picked up this frying pan from the website. Now this is another just GSI frying pan. You can pick this up on Amazon or anything like that. The cool thing is the plates are designed to work with this. You can just use it on the top as a cover or a lid. If you want to cook something, you need a lid. And plus everything nests together well. So everything fits together. You can, store everything. It makes a big deal. And you can also pick up a Firebox cutting board. So I picked this up. I haven't used it too much because a lot of stuff I bring out I just have pre cut up. But once again, works really good with the plate. So you could use it as a cover over the plate if you want to put something warm in there and keep some heat in. So everything works out really good together. So just kind of a few extra little accessories from Firebox. I do have some more, but I won't go through them all right now. All right, so let's get a little bit of a fire going. We'll do some cooking. Like I said, it's going to be very basic. What we'll do is, actually, let's get some stuff out of the cooler here. So yeah, I never really talked about my origin story from how I got into gear. So we'll go way back in time. We're going to go all the way back to like 2016. So back in 2016, I kind of got into outdoor stuff a little bit more. I used to go fishing and camping and stuff as a kid. Our family would go out when I was little, and I always had a fun time. I really liked it. But as we got older, we kind of stopped doing it so much. We'd go fishing every once in a while, but we didn't do much camping. And about 2016, I kind of got into, I guess you could say a health kick. I tried losing some weight. I bought a mountain bike. I started going out and doing some mountain biking, and I had a little Kia Rio. This little Kia Rio was a cheap car. I needed something a little less expensive, and I'd take it out and hit some trails and try to do some fishing. And I just realized that it wasn't the best thing for out in the woods, obviously. One day I was driving down a trail. I hit a rock. Somehow it popped up, knocked a hole clean through my passenger side door at the bottom. At that point, I realized that I needed to change up my vehicle. So I picked up a Toyota Tacoma in 2017. And after I picked that up, I kind of really got into the outdoor stuff. So I started going out, hitting trails a lot more, doing some fishing a lot more, some mountain biking, things like that. Get this lit up here. All right. So as you can see, you can't quite see the flame as much just because I did adjust that oxygen ratio a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and use this plate. I'm going to go ahead and put it on there with the Leatherman so I don't singe all my arm hair off. Put that on there. We go ahead and put a little bit of butter in there. By a little bit, I mean quite a bit. I'll let that melt down for a second. But like I said, I got to go to Tacoma, started doing some stuff like that. And down the street from my house was a company. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it's called CVT, Cascadia Vehicle Tents. And they were doing the rooftop tents. Now, this is back before rooftop tents, and I guess you could say overlanding was getting really popular. It wasn't like super crazy. I stopped in there, looked at them. Everybody there was super friendly, and I decided to pick up a rooftop tent. Now, that was a huge purchase for me. That's something that, I don't really spend that kind of money. Picked one up, and I loved it. I got into camping a lot more, started going out. Now, what we're going to cook today, I'll finish the story in just a second, is we're going to cook just some eggs, some bacon, eggs, sausage. We're actually going to make something called an arepa. So I met this beautiful Venezuelan woman, and she kind of taught me how to make the dough. Now, I'm not going to show you how to make the dough. It's real easy. Look it up on YouTube. You just kind of pound it into like a flat, it's kind of almost like a bread. Now, this is not going to do them justice. If anybody from Venezuela watches this, they'd probably not let me ever talk to them again. But I'm out here in the woods. I don't have like the ideal equipment. It's dried out a little bit. But we're just going to go ahead and kind of wing it here. It's kind of just a nice little, you use kind of like, I think it's like a corn flour, water, and salt. Super easy to make. Yeah, looks pretty bad. But it tastes good. I like it. We're gonna throw a couple sausages in there. Let that cook for a minute. So, yeah, I picked up the CVT tent, and I picked up a roof rack, or like a bed rack, for my Tacoma. Put it on there. Started doing some camping. Now, when I went out and went camping in the beginning, I went to Walmart. I probably picked up, I don't know, $100 worth of camping gear. Like, I picked up the cheapest sleeping bag they made. I picked up, a little cheap 2D battery flashlight. At the time, I think I had the Ontario Rat knife, so not a bad knife. I mean, it's still definitely a budget knife. I picked it up at Walmart, but still pretty good classic knife. I picked up that, and I don't even remember what else I had. I don't think I had a lantern at the time. As far as my cook system goes, I think I just had, I think I might have picked up a Coleman little 2-burner stove. And I just bought pots and pans, like from Walmart, big old pots and pans, a bunch of plastic utensils. I picked up paper plates. I picked up plastic silverware. But you know what? I was having fun. I loved it. I went out a lot. I mean, I was doing a lot of camping, and um, you know, everything was good. I was having fun, but I didn't know much about gear. There was quite a few times where I would go camping and I would freeze to death, because where I'm at, even in the summertime in the higher elevation lakes, I mean, still gets down to 20 degrees, 15 degrees at nighttime, and it might be 60, 70, 80 during the day, but it gets super cold at night. So I was freezing in these bad sleeping bags. My flashlight would go dead half the time by like the first day. I had bought these neon colored clearance Rubbermaid totes from Walmart. I probably had like 4 of them. And they were just packed full of like pots and pans and cooking utensils and gear and all this type stuff. I had tools in there and all this type stuff. And, it was fine. I got by, I survived, but I kind of wanted more. I started watching YouTube. I've been watching YouTube for years and years and years, but I started watching more about outdoor stuff, knives, flashlights, bags, gear, sleeping bags, things like that. I started watching a lot more of that type of stuff. And, I stopped in REI. We've had an REI in our town. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what they sold there. Stopped in there, looked at some of that gear. Then I started picking up, a better quality sleeping bag. I picked up a better quality lantern, picked up a better quality flashlight, a different knife, things like that. And I just slowly kind of progressed, kind of going more minimal. I'm not a big fan of carrying a ton of gear, especially if I'm going out for a day or two. I used to carry all those totes and these giant Coleman coolers from Walmart, and it just kind of made me realize I don't need all that stuff. I don't need to carry so much for just me. So I started going more minimal, picked up some rechargeable stuff, LED lanterns, rechargeable smaller flashlights. I got into soft coolers, picked up a couple soft coolers, things like that. So now I've kind of progressed. I don't camp as much as I used to. I kind of got a little bit burned out. I did 130 nights plus in that rooftop tent. I don't have it anymore. I made the mistake of, back in about 2020, I sold that Tacoma. I sold it with all the gear on it, or most of the gear on it. I sold it with the tent and everything, to pick up one of those new body style Ram 1500s. And I wish I wouldn't have done that, because, well, that Ram 1500 ended up being a big pile of crap. And it had like 11 warranty fixes in the first year. Some of them were pretty major. And I just knew that it wasn't going to be a reliable rig for a long time. So sold it, bought another Tacoma around 2022-ish, I think, somewhere in there. Still rocking that thing. But I didn't do all the outfits and stuff. If I can figure it out, I'll try to post some pictures of my old Tacoma, and you'll kind of see. But I kind of got into the overland thing before the overland thing was cool. So I did that. Um, and then so yeah, that kind of was the origin of my gear story about how I kind of got started in all of my adventures. And kind of over time, I've kind of developed a habit, or I guess an addiction, to buying stuff. Knives, flashlights, all that kind of stuff. And really, I don't need all the stuff that I have. I kind of went a little overboard now. So now I'm trying to dip back down to be a little bit more minimal. I still like to pick up knives every once in a while, but I haven't been picking up flashlights. I haven't been picking up lanterns, gear like that, just because I don't need all that stuff now. So you'll probably notice a reduction in that kind of stuff in the channel a little bit more. But the reason I called my channel Steve's Gear is because I do like watching EDC videos. I like all the EDC channels. I love a lot of the EDC channels. But I'm not really an EDC type guy. I normally, like I said, travel minimal. But I want to get back into making some more content like this, like outdoor stuff, outdoor equipment. I'm still trying to find my groove as far as like being comfortable doing it and how I'm going to do it and things like that. Um, so yeah, you guys can see some more, probably going to see some more cooking style videos, of some more equipment coming soon. I might do some lighting videos of some different options of, camp lanterns and things like that I've picked up throughout the years, kind of give you an idea of a couple different options. Maybe eventually I'll even get into some fishing videos, maybe show you guys some more fishing equipment, things like that. Different kinds of tackle, things like that. So that's kind of the progression of my origin story, I guess you could call it, is how I got into gear and things like that. If you guys ever want to see like a truck walkthrough or something, I mean, my truck's not really equipped with a bunch of stuff, but if you ever want to see it, like what I carry in it and, what I normally keep, in all the little cubbies and stuff, just let me know. I can make a video about that. I used to be a lot more prepared, but I kind of found that I carried so much stuff that I never used. And while sometimes I wish I had it, there's a rare occasion that I need something. Like today, I didn't realize the mosquitoes were going to be out so bad. And I have 5 pouches that probably have mosquito wipes in it, and I didn't have any with me today. So that's kind of the way it works. I'll do a quick pocket dump, nothing crazy. Carrying that new Benchmade Mini Adira in the pocket today. I haven't carried it a whole lot, but still kind of getting used to it. So far, I like it. As you guys saw, kind of going throwback today with the Leatherman Juice S2. And I just have the Open Sea leather wallet, as always, in my pocket. And that's pretty much all I really got in the pockets today. So not carrying a lot. Now I have a lot of extra stuff I kind of brought for the purpose of the video here today. Now I'm using that Sparter cooler that I did a video on a while back. I have this alpaca Elements Tech pouch with all the stuff for the Firebox in it. Normally I just grab and go. So if I know I'm going to do something like this, I just throw all this stuff. It all goes down pretty small. And I just throw it into the nutsack sling. I carry that a lot in a lot of my videos. Anybody that knows me knows that I like those Firebox stoves. And yeah, big fan of that. So I might have put a little too much butter in. Got a little overzealous with the butter. But I'm already fat. What's another couple hundred calories? Uh, so that's the other thing. I'm trying to get kind of on a little bit of a weight loss kick. Trying to shed some pounds. Obviously today it doesn't look like it, but trying to get outdoors a little bit more. That's kind of why I started the channel. One is just because I like watching videos so much. I thought about making some. Just maybe somebody will stumble across one of mine and they'll be like, hey, I was looking for that, or that's cool, or something like that. And I don't really, I love gaining subscribers. I think it's super cool, but I'll never beg for subscribers or views. If you like to watch it, you like to watch it. If you don't, you don't. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of the history of me. I'd like to get out and start doing some more stuff. Last year, I think I only went camping 2 times, I think. I haven't been at all this year. Days like today, sometimes I just like to jump in the truck and go out and check out some trails and stuff. I went fishing yesterday. I didn't really film anything, but I went fishing yesterday. But I need to start remembering to film that kind of stuff. Some people might be interested in watching it. Maybe I'll do some catch and cooks. I think those are kind of fun to watch on YouTube sometimes. Sometimes I do more fishing than catching, but for me, it's just about getting outdoors. I'm not super serious fisherman. I'm not one of those guys that you can't talk to when they're fishing and they're ultra aggressive when they're fishing and stuff like that. I just like being outside, being in the sun, being next to the water, bringing some water. I used to drink quite a few beers when I was out fishing, but I don't really do that anymore. Now I just pretty much drink some water. Stuff like this, going out in the woods, making a quick breakfast, little things like that I really like. Um, so, and hopefully I can bring you guys along for it. We'll see if anybody watches these videos. I don't know if anybody will be interested in seeing this kind of stuff. Um, I'm still getting used to making them. It's still kind of awkward for me um, to make this and get used to shooting from behind the camera, which is something a little different. But I don't know. I'm having fun. Hopefully you guys have fun watching some of this stuff. And I like it when people interact and comment, let me know, what their favorite cook system is, or if they think this would be cool, or just ideas. People have ideas of things I think I'd like or would be useful for my lifestyle. Just kind of the occasional outdoors guy. I like seeing that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video, I think. I'll probably dish this stuff up here in a second. I think it's just about done. I won't make you guys watch me eat it or anything like that. I don't think people are into watching me eat, but if I ever do this again, I'm going to use about a quarter of the butter I used last time. Yeah. Ooh. What are you guys going to do this summer? Comment below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you listened to me ramble through all this crap for that long, let me know at the end of the video what you guys are going to do this summer. You guys have any big trips? You guys going to go do, going to any big major parks? Are you going to go to any bucket list camping spots, anything like that? I would love to make it out to some of these places I see. I mean, if you're watching my channel, maybe you watch like Matt's Off-Road Recovery or something like that. It'd be super cool to go out there and see parts of that Utah or something like that. Some of those areas are just phenomenal looking. But that's kind of the basic breakfast. Not real, definitely not chef quality, but just in the woods out here hanging out quality. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you made it to the end of this video, you are a superstar. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Have a good one.